So my friend and colleague, Coach Alfonso Perez, who, if you guys are not following him, you should. He drops really good knowledge bombs and life tips constantly. So especially for guys who find themselves struggling with just everyday things that seem like they should be really simple, but sometimes they're not. And Fonz has a great way of explaining it and breaking it down and just bringing it to the forefront so you can deal with it effectively. Anyways, I think it was yesterday. It feels like the days are long right now. It's probably because summer's getting close. But he says that people work harder at avoiding pain than seeking pleasure. Well, isn't that interesting? Because that really is the way we are wired. And if we look at it through the self-sabotage lens, we are designed to be part of a herd, to be part of a group. And that means that there's going to be like a median behavioral pattern. There's going to be a predictable, copyable pattern of behavior, which is going to be the norm. It's going to be the norm, and your subconscious mind is going to try to keep you there as long as possible, and it will wrestle you down to keep you there, as a matter of fact, because it's an old system, it's an old mechanism that we have built in, but it's all for safety. If we stick out like a sore thumb out in the jungle, we're going to be found and killed, right? Especially by a predator. If a zebra is running around out there showing off their stripes against the foliage or whatever, it's going to get caught. It's only strong when it's in the middle of the herd and you can't tell them apart. They look like a big mass. So anyways, if we're seeking pleasure, if we're seeking happiness, if we're seeking to improve ourselves, whatever, that is immediately going to push us out of the big group. And it's going to leave us a little bit more exposed. So anyways, that's why that happens. That's why you see people really avoiding difficult things like putting in extra effort into anything. We're not even talking about opening a business or, changing your life or, I'm going to turn into a superhero now. I'm going to get muscles. I'm going to transform my body and do nothing. It doesn't have to be that big. It doesn't have to be that epic. People will certainly avoid very simple difficulties in life, inconveniences in life, just so that they don't have to deal with it. I mean, it's that simple. So here's the thing. When we are faced with a choice to make, and it doesn't have to be anything life-shattering, earth-shattering, reality-shattering. It doesn't have to be that big of a thing. It can just be like a fairly mundane thing to go do. Think about putting gas in your car, Think about how many people that have maybe some light medical conditions and they need to be on a very specific diet in order to be healthier, in order to avoid more serious medications, or in order to avoid more serious, consequences, whatever. And they don't do it. When given the chance to have this or that, they will choose the least healthy option. It's like they're punching themselves in the face just for the sake of what's comfortable, what's more pleasurable, whatever, really. But at the end of the day, happiness is not happiness and comfort, happiness and safety. They don't play well together. You know, you have to get a little bit uncomfortable. You have to step outside of what feels safe in order to feel that satisfaction, that pleasure, that happiness. It's just the way it is. It's safe to stay stuck in your job and to go day after day, hour after hour, complaining about your boss, going out to lunch with your coworkers and talking about how if you were the manager, if you were the boss, if you were the owner, you would better be running that company. You would be better at doing everything else. And so what happens? You do that for the next 8 years, 15 years or whatever. You're miserable the entire time. Nothing changes at work, and yet you don't make a change. You know, so what sense does that make? Well, the answer is easy, you know, none. It makes no sense. It's insane. But that's what we do. So think about that. Think about how we think, how we act, and how you might find just a little sliver of a reason to do something, even if it's just a little bit different. And see how that starts to shape the way you feel about your life. Forget about that. See how that starts to shape the way you feel about your day. And then see if you can translate that into a better way, a different way of feeling about your life, those around you, your future, your present, what you're doing now. Anyways, have a great one, guys. Talk soon.